The army of the domain world set out. Now I understand. So this is the origin of Yuancheng, Xiaoyan remarked, gazing at the small boat drifting slowly over the lake not far away. In the past month, he had learned far too many shocking things. Heh, Brother Yan's imperial realm is truly impressive. He managed to uncover the deep memories of others' consciousness through this method, Martial Ancestor said, praising him. He had been struggling with how to retrieve Yuancheng's hidden past, but Xiaoyan had effortlessly explored Yuancheng's memories with just his imperial realm. This guy, when he first came to this world, must have been at least a lower ruler with his level, Xiaoyan continued. After comparing, he understood that in the Taipan world, the great Shangtian was equivalent to our upper ruler, while Shangtian was the same as lower ruler. Yuancheng had once been a genuine Shangtian in the Taipan world. But I don't understand why he gave up his ruler power and chose to become a heaven transformation stage cultivator. At least he didn't deceive us. Although he was the son of a great Shangtian in the Taipan world, he really doesn't understand how the war in the vast expanse should be fought, because he grew up in an era when no one dared to provoke the Taipan world. So, his memories don't include such experience, Lindong said. So how was the Taipan world destroyed? In the vast expanse, there are a few survivors who became incredibly strong after the wars. The Taipan world was one of them. Some of these worlds, dissatisfied with their comfortable status, sought to elevate their entire world to a higher-level pure energy state world. But this is forbidden in the vast expanse. Those existing pure energy life forms will not allow a new pure energy world to emerge. As soon as any world attempts to transform into a pure energy world, they will be erased by these beings, Xiaoyan explained. This is why Yuancheng's journey from the very beginning was doomed. Some levels of the vast expanse are now monopolized by these pure energy life forms, and below this level, all that remains is an endless battle for resources. All paths are sealed, and the bubble worlds can only struggle within the war. Even the domain world, which has just entered the battlefield, is no exception. As Xiaoyan finished speaking, both he and Lindong's expressions grew heavy. Until now, they hadn't realized just how grim the vast expanse had become. But now, they began to understand Yuancheng's words. The outside world was not only a battlefield in ruins, it was a battlefield under monopoly. Worse, this monopoly could not be broken because there was no way to defeat the pure energy life forms. Mu Chun and the others are in danger. Should we do something? Lindong asked. From Yuancheng's memories, they had learned that the reason it was dangerous for people from their world to leave the bubble world was that, when someone is in the vast expanse, no matter how strong they are, the only power they can draw on is the heavenly energy they brought from their world. This power is limited and weak. For those in the bubble worlds, as long as they have a few tricks, they can easily eliminate these people in the vast expanse, and no one will go to retrieve their bodies. The vast expanse is so vast that finding their remains would be like searching for a needle in a haystack. Mu Chun and the over 10,000 strong warriors of the domain world were currently in such a dangerous state. It is impossible to contact them and bring them back, Xiaoyan said. We can only hope they can handle whatever dangers lie ahead. And it seems the enemy is just like us, new to this, so they may not have mastered certain techniques. Should we inform her? Lindong asked. I think Luoli should know about this, but she's pregnant now. I hope this doesn't upset her. She will need to know eventually. She and Mu Chun have been through more than a decade of trials together. I'm sure she will be able to make her own judgment, Xiaoyan said. We are running out of time. We need to visit the domain celestial court. Heh, with the boundless fire domain and martial realm heading to the domain celestial court at the same time. This could easily turn into a major battle, Lindong said with a faint smile. The danger we're facing is quite clear. If Mu Chin's group suffers casualties, it would mean the domain world loses half of its power, Xiaoyan said. But since the power Mu Chun took with him cannot be recalled, all we can do now is treat the remaining power as the domain world's full strength. When are we heading to the domain celestial court? Let's set off now. This kind of thing must be done swiftly, and besides, we need to meet someone when we get to the domain celestial court, Xiaoyan said. An attendant? Lindong asked. Yuancheng doesn't have experience with the wars in the vast expanse, but an attendant does, Xiaoyan replied. Can the attendant be trusted? Lin Dong furrowed his brow. Let's trust him half-heartedly for now. And since I can use the Imperial Realm on Yuan Chang, I can do the same with the attendant. As for the consciousness and memories, they shouldn't lie, Xiaoyan said. Then let's move out, Lin Dong said, turning his gaze towards the distant horizon, where the domain Celestial Court was located. I have some things to confirm, so I must let Brother Lin Dong go ahead to the domain Celestial Court first. Once I've confirmed that matter, I'll immediately head there, Xiaoyan explained. Just as Lin Dong was about to depart, Xiaoyan spoke again, his gaze shifting towards a direction aligned with the domain Celestial Court's concept. His eyes, imbued with an eerie glow, seemed to pierce through space as if they could see the very destination from billions of miles away. It was a boundless white plaza, and in the center of it stood a colossal stone statue, towering 1,000,000 zhang high. The figure of an old man, like a creator, loomed over the entire domain world, overshadowing everything else. Lin Dong listened to Xiaoyan's words. Though he didn't know exactly where Xiaoyan was heading, he nodded and said, "Then as Brother Yin wishes." Upon hearing this, Xiaoyan cupped his hands in respect to Lin Dong, then turned and narrowed his eyes slightly. His figure flickered and vanished from this world. Meanwhile, Lin Dong let out a deep breath, glancing towards the direction of the domain Celestial Court. After sending a transmission to another part of the martial realm, he leaped through the skies, crossing millions of miles towards the domain Celestial Court. Qingzhu, Huan. I'm heading to the domain Celestial Court. No matter what happens next, stay in the military domain Celestial Court and don't leave. At the same time, in a place within the martial realm, a young girl raised her jade hand, and at that moment, the spiritual energy of the heavens surged wildly, transforming into a tidal wave that swept through and flattened a row of mountains in front of her. After completing her move, the girl took a deep breath. Finally succeeded, the girl said, wiping the sweat from her brow. Just then, a voice came from the distant horizon. Xun'er, your heavenly sea divine art is only at 60% completion. It's not perfect yet. The voice was followed by the appearance of a woman in a white gauzy dress, who floated beside the girl. She was the matriarch of the martial realm, Ling Qingzhu. Mother, didn't father achieve something? Why do you want me to change to practicing spiritual energy now? The girl pouted. She was none other than the princess of the martial realm, Lin Jing. Your father has his reasons. Just follow his guidance, Ling Qingzhu said. But I have to leave the martial realm for a while. Don't slack off while I'm gone. Mother, where are you going? Lin Jing asked, a little displeased. The domain world is so peaceful now. I want to go out and have some fun. If you keep playing around, your cultivation path will be wasted. Mu Chan is from the same generation as you, but now he has become the Central Lord. You need to put in some effort, Ling Qingzhu said. I don't want to compare with that guy. I'd rather compete with Xiao Xiao and Xiao Lin from the martial realm, Lin Jing replied, her eyes lighting up. Oh, right, mother. Can I go to the boundless fire domain? It's so boring practicing alone here. I'd rather go find Xiao Xiao and the others. Maybe Uncle Flame Emperor is making them practice spiritual energy, and we could spar. Ling Qingzhu thought for a moment before nodding. Fine, you can go to the boundless fire domain, but you'll have to bring Uncle Diao and the others along. Hearing this approval, Lin Jing was overjoyed. She immediately moved, flying toward the Diao King domain, the area controlled by Lin Diao. After Lin Jing left, Ling Qingzhu sighed helplessly, her gaze turning to the distant horizon. Then, with a graceful leap, she transformed into a streak of light, speeding toward the direction of the domain Celestial Court. Having left the martial realm and crossed billions of miles through the skies, Xiaoyan finally reached his destination. He hovered in midair, gazing at the seemingly endless smooth white surface before him. It's been so long. This is now a special region of the domain world, personally defined by the Central Herdsman Master, and it is known as the Spirit Domain. Within the Great Thousand Worlds, a rumor has spread that 2 ruler spirits reside here. These ruler spirits never engage in matters of the outside world. Instead, they remain here to guard something. Only Xiaoyan knows what they are protecting. Phew. Upon arriving, Xiaoyan took a deep breath. He did not directly rush into the spirit domain, but instead, with a flash of movement, appeared on a hill not far from the domain. After landing, he stomped heavily on the ground, and the terrifying force immediately lifted the entire hill, roughly 100 feet high, from the earth. The surrounding land trembled for thousands of miles. After uprooting the hill, Xiaoyan waved his hand, and the hill transformed into a massive meteor, flying at high speed toward the spirit domain. However, as the hill entered the domain, the scene that Xiaoyan had anticipated unfolded. Crash! The entire hill, now within the domain, was rapidly transformed into a towering inferno. It resembled a massive fireball, hundreds of thousands of feet in size, suspended in midair. Its blinding light could be seen from miles away, and the power within was so immense it could vaporize an ordinary heavenly supreme. Looks like a rule has been set up here, Xiaoyan mused, observing the completely transformed hill. He immediately confirmed that a rule had been established in the spirit domain that converted anything, be it material or spiritual power, into the power of fire. However, Xiaoyan, now at the upper ruler level, stood on equal footing with the entire domain world. He could break any rule not coming from the central hub. Moreover, the rule here was related to fire, which was his area of expertise. I hope I'm not mistaken. With those words, Xiaoyan shot forward once again, directly charging into the spirit domain. As he entered, his form, like the hill before, was assimilated into a massive wave of fire. Yet this fire seemed alive, racing forward with terrifying speed deep into the domain. But after Xiaoyan's fire form had traveled a few minutes into the domain, it suddenly exploded. The fire dispersed, transforming into dazzling lightning. There's actually a second rule. Xiaoyan was slightly surprised. He had initially thought that the outer perimeter of the spirit domain was only covered by the fire assimilation rule, but it turned out the fire rule was just the first barrier. The second rule, which converted everything entering the depths of the spirit domain into lightning, now became a new challenge. Before, Xiaoyan hadn't stopped the fire rule's assimilation because it wasn't necessary. But now that he had been turned into dispersed lightning, he had no choice but to fight against this second rule. Boom! The lightning in the air rapidly condensed and then ignited, gradually transforming back into an overwhelming firestorm. Eventually, it formed into Xiaoyan's true form again. Since the lightning assimilation rule had converted Xiaoyan into lightning power, he had to adapt. And this time, he was not only fighting against that rule. Xiaoyan was preparing to assimilate the entire spirit domain's rules once more. Meanwhile, at the center of the spirit domain, on top of a giant stone statue, both Fire Boy and Thunder Boy immediately sensed the disturbance. After all, this was their domain. Fire. What's he here for? Thunder Boy asked, his tone tinged with unease. He had a bad feeling. Xiaoyan was rushing into the spirit domain and preparing to forcefully alter the rules that had been set here. Thunder Boy's first instinct was that Xiaoyan had a significant purpose in coming. I don't know, but he is an upper ruler. Our rules might not last even 10 minutes, Fire Boy replied anxiously. Hearing this, Thunder Boy's eyes narrowed slightly. It won't last 10 minutes. I don't think it will last a minute. What should we do next? Is he here to take that thing? Fire, let's quickly pack up the glass. The Supreme Ruler is coming. No one is allowed to touch it, Thunder Boy said. In an instant, his figure flashed and appeared atop the old man's stone statue's palm. The crystal-clear glass was still slowly rotating, its beautiful shape highly attractive to some women. Thunder Boy extended his hand, ready to grab the glass, but at that moment, a booming sound, echoing like thunder, suddenly enveloped the entire spirit domain. Hearing that sound, both Fire Boy and Thunder Boy immediately turned their gaze toward the sky. There, the entire sky was collapsing. The powers of Fire Flame and Thunder Roar collided in the heavens, two rules that once assisted each other now clashing violently. The collision tore apart all space, reducing it to nothingness. Even a perfected heavenly supreme expert entering that area would be directly obliterated. There was no doubt about it. Xiaoyan had employed some technique to cause Fire Boy and Thunder Boy's rules to collapse on their own. Whoever comes is up to no good. Seeing the destructive scene above, Thunder Boy immediately deduced that Xiaoyan's arrival was no simple matter. His palm swiftly reached for the glass, but just then, a hand shot out from behind Thunder Boy, seizing the glass before him. "Let go. You are not allowed to touch the Supreme Ruler's things." Thunder Boy shouted angrily, then spun around, his 5 fingers slicing through the space behind him. Every space he touched twisted and transformed into rolling thunder paste. The thunder paste exploded in mid-air, its terrifying power eroding everything around it. But Thunder Boy was a step too late, for the person who took the glass had already retreated to the distance. Xiaoyan stood in mid-air. Above him, countless fragments of space rained down like a storm. However, as these space fragments fell around Xiaoyan, they were immediately converted into fire flame. "So, this is the glass from Yuan Cheng's memory?" Xiaoyan murmured, gazing at the crystal in his hand, which resembled glass. The reason he had come here was because he had seen something terrifying in Yuan Cheng's memory using the Imperial Realm. This item seemed to belong exclusively to the pure energy life forms in the vast expanse, and it was this very thing that had caused the Taipan world to be wiped out in an instant. This was something called glass. "Hey, you bastard, give it back to us." In the distance, Fire Boy and Thunder Boy glared at Xiaoyan, their gazes heavy. At that moment, the sky behind them had already changed color. The heavens above were engulfed in a sea of flames, devouring everything, while a brilliant curtain of thunder stretched across the sky, seemingly endless. Such terrifying power was on par with the level of force that Xiaoyan and others had unleashed in the Domain Guard plan years ago. "How do you have such a thing?" Xiaoyan asked, holding the glass. "You bastard, after taking our things, you're still asking us such a question." Thunder Boy shouted angrily. Hearing this, Xiaoyan immediately turned and prepared to leave. Seeing Xiaoyan's intention to depart, Fire Boy took action immediately. With a wave of his palm, he sealed off the space Xiaoyan was in. Then, he used his rules to slow down the passage of time in that area by tens of thousands of times. "Thunder, let's act together," Fire Boy shouted, continuing his assault. Thunder Boy, seeing this, also began setting up rules to trap Xiaoyan, who had been imprisoned. After using the time slowdown to confine Xiaoyan, Fire Boy and Thunder Boy knew that a few rules wouldn't be enough to deal with him, so they began to continuously create and modify new rules. They separated the space Xiaoyan was in into millions of fragments, and then turned these fragments into a chaotic state. Xiaoyan was now effectively divided into millions of tiny parts. The 5th and 6th rules turned all the separated chaotic fragments into fire flame and thunder roar. The 7th rule converted all the fire flame energy in the spirit domain into rock matter. The 8th rule granted independent intelligence to all rock matter, dispersing them to the edges of the spirit domain. The Fire Boy and Thunder Boy set the rules at an extremely fast pace. In less than 10 seconds, they had laid down over 100 rules. Because of these rules, everything in the entire spirit domain had become chaotic. The space no longer resembled space. The heavens and earth were no longer as they should be, and everything turned into a hazy blur. From time to time, chaotic spiritual energy surged, mixed with terrifying flames and thunder power. This was the first time since their birth that the Fire Boy and Thunder Boy had used such a large-scale set of rules to target a single person. Although this person had once promised to protect this domain world, anyone who dared to touch the glass was their enemy. However, what followed was beyond the Fire Boy and Thunder Boy's expectations. After setting over 100 rules to almost erase Xiaoyan to the point of no recovery, just a few breaths later, the chaotic world strangely began to calm. All the flames and thunder disappeared, the shattered space rapidly restored, and the disordered spirit domain returned to normal. All the scattered fragments of matter reformed into their original shapes. In the end, a figure in a black robe appeared once again before the Fire Boy and Thunder Boy, as though everything that had just happened had never occurred. Impossible. Looking at Xiaoyan, who had reappeared, the Fire Boy and Thunder Boy were both shocked. At this moment, Xiaoyan slowly turned his gaze toward them. "Can you tell me now?" Xiaoyan asked, opening his palm. A piece of glass in his hand flickered with a faint glow. "If I'm satisfied with your answer, I will return this thing to you." Xiaoyan, didn't you promise to protect this domain world? What are you doing here? The fire boy shouted at Xiaoyan, clearly angered by Xiaoyan's current actions. I'm here to save this domain world, which is on the brink of destruction, Xiaoyan replied directly. What does the destruction of the domain world have to do with the glass given to us by our master? Thunder Boy asked in a deep voice. Although I don't know who your master is, I suppose you don't even know what this is, right? Xiaoyan glanced at the glass in his hand and said, We don't care what it is. We only know that our master created us to protect it. No one is allowed to touch it, not even you, Thunder Boy replied. But I've already taken it. What are you going to do? Xiaoyan asked. We will erase you, Thunder Boy said. That's a pity. You won't be able to do that, Xiaoyan said with a faint smile. He was now at the upper ruler level, while the Fire Boy and Thunder Boy were only at the lower ruler level. If he wished, he could strip them of their ability to modify the rules and erase them from existence. However, Xiaoyan would not go that far unless it was absolutely necessary. Even if we can't, we will try, because that's the reason we exist, the Fire Boy and Thunder Boy insisted. Sigh. Seeing their desperate persistence, Xiaoyan could only sigh helplessly. He then said, Let me tell you this. This thing doesn't belong to the domain world. It comes from the vast ocean outside, and it's a specialized attack method used by pure energy life forms. This piece of glass can erase an entire world in an instant, no matter how powerful that world is. Then, Xiaoyan shared all the information he had gathered from Yuan Cheng's consciousness with the Fire Boy and Thunder Boy. After hearing Xiaoyan's explanation, the Fire Boy and Thunder Boy were slightly surprised. However, their surprise was not great. It wasn't because they had experienced these events, but because their very existence had no concern for such matters. No matter how exaggerated things were happening outside, their only purpose was to protect the glass left behind. I've told you everything you need to know. Now, I need this glass, because only it can help us defeat the unknown world beyond, Xiaoyan said. And you need to tell me everything you know, at least how to use this glass. Didn't the central herdsman master already go to the other world? Thunder Boy asked. The central herdsman master took the wrong path. Unless a miracle happens, we can only save ourselves from here on. Can this glass save us? Thunder Boy asked. I don't know, but I won't miss the chance to try, Xiaoyan replied, then asked again, Who is yours? The Supreme Ruler is the creator of this domain world. The extraterritorial evil clan was placed here by him, and other worlds, like the Great Thousand World and Lower Dimensional World, were also created by him. The Great Thousand World and the extraterritorial world will continue to battle, while all we need to do is protect the glass, Thunder Boy explained. How many years ago was this? Xiaoyan asked, his mind already racing. He had never anticipated that the conflict between the Great Thousand World and the extraterritorial world was orchestrated by this so-called Supreme Ruler, and someone who could create entire worlds. How terrifying must that person be? With this thought, Xiaoyan turned his gaze toward the massive stone statue of an old man not far away. If he wasn't mistaken, this person was most likely the Supreme Ruler. We don't know how many years ago it was. Only the Domain King would have the answer to that, Thunder Boy replied. Who is the Domain King? Xiaoyan asked. The Domain King is the one who, together with the Supreme Ruler, created this world. He is also one of the Supreme Ruler's closest allies. It is said that they both came from another world, but when this world collapsed, they rebuilt this domain world based on that ancient era. Eventually, the Supreme Ruler destroyed their previous world, and this current world began after that, Thunder Boy explained. Unfortunately, the Domain King died 100,000 years ago. At that time, a massive continent collided with this world, and the force of impact was enough to destroy the entire domain. The Domain King sacrificed himself to shatter the continent, but some fragments still entered this world, causing destruction that was no less severe than the Domain Guard plan you previously initiated, Thunder Boy continued. Then how did the Supreme Ruler get this glass? Is he a pure energy life form? Xiaoyan asked. Thunder Boy and Fire Boy grew impatient with Xiaoyan's series of questions. It felt like an interrogation. Nonetheless, Thunder Boy answered, We don't know what the Supreme Ruler is, but this glass was given to him by someone named Spectre. Spectre? What is that? We don't know. Then how do you use the glass? We don't know. Upon hearing these answers, Xiao Yin narrowed his eyes. If they didn't know how to use the glass, then wasn't it just a useless object? One last question. Has your supreme ruler fallen? Xiao Yin asked. The supreme ruler left this world. We don't know where he went, Thunderboy replied. Will he return? Xiao Yin added. We don't know, Thunderboy responded. Meanwhile, far away on the domain continent, a figure covered in dust and weariness had just arrived. It was martial ancestor Lin Dong. Lin Dong landed in the center of the domain continent. As he looked up, an immense mountain peak appeared before him. This was the tallest peak in the domain world, and the area atop the mountain was large enough to form a continent. The domain celestial court was built on that very peak. Martial ancestor, why didn't you announce your arrival before coming to the domain celestial court? Luo Li would have prepared herself. A voice softly echoed from the sky as Lin Dong reached the domain celestial court. It was the voice of Luo Shun, the wife of the central shepherd lord, Luo Li. Apologies for the sudden visit, but there are some matters I think you should know, Lin Dong responded calmly. What matters? The voice from above asked again. Lin Dong hesitated for a moment before speaking directly. Mu Chun, he may be in danger. In the core region of the domain celestial court, there stood a massive main hall, in front of which stretched a great white stone road. Lin Dong walked up the road and stood at one end, gazing toward the other side, where several figures had already appeared, led by Luo Li. Among them was the leader of the Nine Nether clan, the Immortal Venerable. The Immortal Venerable had accompanied the central shepherd lord in the Great Thousand World, and now held a position just below Luo Li within the domain celestial court. Senior martial ancestor, is Mu Chun in danger? What does this mean? Luo Li stood at the front of the group, looking at Lin Dong not far away, and asked in a deep voice. Because Mu Chun made a mistake. He shouldn't have recklessly left the protective shell of the domain world. In the vast expanse, he will lose all of his previous advantages and be in great danger, Lin Dong replied. Hearing this, Luo Li and the others exchanged glances. Luo Li then turned her gaze back to Lin Dong and said, although it seems a bit abrupt, hearing this from senior martial ancestor doesn't sound quite right. I know what you're thinking. You believe that Mu Chun, like us, has grown through danger. We left the protection and struggled in the lower dimensional world, then rose to the challenge, facing numerous hardships in the Great Thousand Worlds, eventually becoming what we are today. Mu Chun is the same, seeking fortune in peril. He has moved forward many times despite the dangers, and that's why he has everything he does today. If he had grown up in protection, he'd be like a flower in a greenhouse, Lin Dong said. The peak is always for those who dare to take risks and are decisive, right? Exactly. Since senior martial ancestor understands this, we should trust Mu Chun. If he has come this far, he can lead us even further. Right now, we have no other choice but to take a chance. Isn't that true? Luo Li said. Mu Chun is in danger, we know that, and he surely knows it too. But since he chose to act, he must have his own plan. His own plan? Sorry, let me ask, what exactly is Mu Chun's plan? Lin Dong asked. Upon hearing this, Luo Li glanced around at the others, then said, since senior martial ancestor wants to know Mu Chun's plan, I'll share it. Lin Dong nodded. He was curious to see if Mu Chun's plan was feasible. Mu Chun knows that directly attacking the enemy's world has a very low chance of success. We know nothing about our opponents, though we can roughly guess their world's power is similar to ours. However, their methods are truly unknown. But there's one key factor that can determine the outcome of the battle, and that is the core of the world, Luo Li explained. Mu Chun's plan is to find a way to control the enemy world's core. If he can control the core of their world, victory is already decided, because no matter the world, the core is always supreme. Luo Li's words surprised Lin Dong. He hadn't expected Mu Chun to have such an audacious plan, attempting to seize control of another world's core. However, if the core was anything like the former dimension embryo, it might not be entirely impossible. But Lin Dong still had doubts. Mu Chun is the current master of the domain world's core. He controls this world's core. In that case, how can he control another world's core? Lin Dong asked directly. Upon hearing this, some of the powerful figures of the domain celestial court, including the immortal venerable, also became curious. They all turned their gaze to Luo Li, as they too didn't know how Mu Qin's plan was supposed to work. In fact, because Mu Qin had created so many miracles on their journey, they always chose to trust and support his decisions and plans. However, this time, they were all quite curious about Lin Dong's question. Luo Li hesitated for a moment, because revealing the truth would expose a high-level secret about the domain world. She didn't answer right away, but someone else did. Because the domain world doesn't actually have a core. A calm voice echoed from the distant horizon. Upon hearing the voice, Lin Dong was the first to react. At the same time, the others in the domain celestial court were also stunned. They turned their gazes to the distant sky. Lin Dong slowly turned and looked over. Not far from the domain celestial court, a slender figure in white stepped through the void and appeared before them. When Lin Dong saw her face, he was once again stunned. This person was none other than his wife, Ling Qingzhu. Ling Qingzhu, having crossed the skies, landed not far from Lin Dong. Lin Dong immediately walked towards her. Weren't you supposed to stay in the martial realm? Why did you come here? You didn't even send a notice and just came straight to the domain celestial court. What's the matter? Qingzhu asked, her voice tinged with curiosity. In the current domain world, the boundless fire domain, martial realm, and domain celestial court formed a delicate balance of power. Though the relations between the three major forces were cordial, according to the rules, when a domain lord visits another force, they must first send a notice. But Lin Dong had arrived at the domain celestial court without any prior notification, clearly indicating there was some urgent matter at hand. Thus, Qingzhu naturally needed to get to the bottom of it. When Lin Dong arrived, the highest-ranking figures of the domain celestial court had all gathered in response to his unexpected visit. I'm just here to see someone, Lin Dong replied. Qingzhu was momentarily taken aback. Just who was so important that Lin Dong would come to the domain celestial court without even a heads-up? By the way, what did you mean by the central hub doesn't exist? Lin Dong asked. Hearing this, Qingzhu explained. It means that the central hub of this domain world has always been a blank. Years ago, I reached the peak of the central path and touched upon that void, but someone else beat me to it. Mu Qin? Lin Dong furrowed his brow, surprised to learn that his wife had nearly become the central lord. If Qingzhu had succeeded, Mu Qin would never have come into the picture. Yes, Mu Qin reached the central hub before me and filled the last void of this domain world with himself, becoming the central hub, Qingzhu confirmed. Lin Dong was once again taken aback by her words. It seemed that the central hub couldn't be compared to the dimension embryo after all. He hadn't expected the central hub to be empty, requiring someone to step in and become the domain world's central hub. Nearby, Luo Li and the others had also heard Qingzhu's explanation. Luo Li's brows furrowed slightly. She hadn't expected that others knew the secret of the central hub, let alone that it would be revealed like this. The others' reactions were similar to Lin Dong's, as this new information contradicted their previous understanding of the central hub. I see now. I never knew the central hub was something that didn't exist at all, one of them murmured. Just as Qingzhu finished revealing the secret of the central hub, another voice echoed across the sky. The voice carried an aura of overwhelming dominance, as though a king had descended. The many powerful beings in the domain celestial court felt a slight tremor in their hearts as the voice rang out, one they were all too familiar with, leaving a deep impression on them. As the voice reverberated, a figure appeared in the distance, crossing the heavens and arriving at the domain celestial court. It was none other than the Flame Emperor, Xiaoyan, who had split off with Lin Dong to handle matters in the spirit domain. Having completed his task, he had immediately come here. Seeing Xiaoyan's arrival, Luo Li and the others narrowed their eyes. They hadn't expected two heavenly powerhouses to show up at once, the Flame Emperor, Xiaoyan, and the martial ancestor, Lin Dong. These two were, in a sense, on the same level as Mu Qin, transcendent beings who were even bestowed a title within the domain world, Transcendent Flame Marshal. Even a month ago, When Mu Chun led a group of powerful experts on their journey, neither the Flame Emperor nor Martial Ancestor had appeared in person. But now, both had arrived unannounced at the Domain Celestial Court, so no one could assume their visit was for anything trivial. Xiaoyan, have you finished your business? Lindong asked. I went to retrieve something, but didn't get it, Xiaoyan replied. Though Lindong didn't know exactly what Xiaoyan was after, he could tell it was something unusual. At this moment, Xiaoyan's gaze shifted towards Luo Li and the others, who in turn returned his stare. The atmosphere within the Domain Celestial Court grew silent as everyone, led by Luo Li, pondered the purpose of Xiaoyan and Lindong's visit. After a few moments, Luo Li broke the silence. Flame Emperor and Martial Ancestor, though it may be a bit forward, may I ask what brings you both to the Domain Celestial Court unannounced? Surely, there's something of importance, correct? Luo Li asked. There is indeed something, Xiaoyan said with a faint smile. Taking a few steps forward, he looked at the gathered figures and continued. Since we're here, I won't beat around the bush. Mu Chun is currently in a perilous situation. Lindong, I'm sure you've already informed them, but I believe you still trust in Mu Chun's abilities. As for what he plans to do, based on what was said earlier, I suspect he aims to become the central hub of another world. Xiaoyan's words reached the ears of everyone, including Luo Li, and all the experts of the Domain Celestial Court understood that this Flame Emperor Xiaoyan was not only a heavenly overlord, but also possessed astonishing judgment and observation skills. That's right. The current ruler of the Domain World's central hub is me, Luo Li said to Xiaoyan. I guessed it was you. But that's no longer the main issue. Whether Mu Chun wins or not is not the key concern right now, Xiaoyan replied to Luo Li. Today, I came here with Brother Lindong for one thing. Does the Flame Emperor wish to meet her? Luo Li asked. Exactly. Mu Chun has taken away most of the power from the Domain World. In fact, the Domain World is at its weakest right now, and we could be attacked by another world at any time. But none of us have experience with this, only Sure does. So, we need him now, Xiaoyan said. Release him. Upon hearing Xiaoyan's request, everyone above the Domain Celestial Court was slightly surprised. Sure was sealed by Mu Chun himself before leaving the Domain World, but now Xiaoyan wanted to release him. After hearing Xiaoyan's request, Luo Li directly responded, I'm afraid I can't agree to your request, Flame Emperor. Time rewinds 2 days before the Domain World army set out. After handling the remnants of the extraterritorial evil clan, Mu Chun sat alone atop a mountain peak. A gentle breeze blew from the distance, lifting some strands of his hair. But Mu Chun gazed at the world in front of him, seemingly deep in thought. Do you have any lingering worries? A soft voice came from afar. Mu Chun turned his head and saw Luo Li walking toward him from behind. Why aren't you resting? Mu Chun asked when she reached his side. In times like this, who can rest? Luo Li smiled faintly, then asked again. What's bothering you? Just some trivial matters. Nothing serious, Mu Chun replied, falling into a moment of silence. After a few breaths, he suddenly spoke. What kind of people do you think the Flame Emperor and Martial Ancestor are? This is what you're thinking? Luo Li was taken aback by his question. She hadn't expected him to be concerned about this. The Flame Emperor and Martial Ancestor are people like you, right? At least, all three of you rose step by step from humble beginnings to your current status. The difficulties and obstacles along the way didn't defeat you. They shaped you. Wouldn't you agree? Luo Li smiled slightly and said, To the beings of heaven and earth, you are all heroes. Thank you for the praise, my dear wife, Mu Chun teased. Then what could you possibly still be worried about? Luo Li asked. Mu Chun lowered his head slightly before answering. Despite that, I find I can't see through the Flame Emperor and Martial Ancestor. I have no idea what they're thinking. That's not a good habit. The Flame Emperor and Martial Ancestor are both respectable seniors. We don't need to speculate about their thoughts, do we? Luo Li said. That's true, but I can't shake this odd worry. Perhaps I'm overthinking it, Mu Chun replied. What is it? Luo Li asked. Before, I noticed that the Flame Emperor still held on to some past matters, or perhaps he harbored a sense of regret over the disappearance of the lower dimension world, Mu Chun said. Is it because of the Dochi world? Luoli asked. I think so. After all, the Dochi world bears some of the Flame Emperor's responsibilities and missions, Mu-Chen replied. So what exactly are you worried about? Luoli asked again. I'm worried the Flame Emperor might want to restore the lower dimension world, Mu-Chen said, then added. But the Flame Emperor and his peers are figures of supreme power, so some things might not matter to them. Maybe I'm just overthinking it. I don't think that will happen. The domain world itself is a whole. When the Flame Emperor decided to merge a Do-Chi continent with other fragmented worlds to form the complete Do-Chi domain, he must have understood the principles behind the integration of the three major worlds into the domain world now, Luoli said. That's true. It seems I was overthinking it after all. Mu-Chen stood up and stretched. The plan is set to begin in 2 days. By then, I'll lead the experts of the domain world, and whether we succeed in becoming the central hub of the other world depends on this move. After all the storms and trials you've faced, I believe you'll succeed this time as well, Luoli said. Mu-Chen smiled at Luoli, then turned around, preparing to return to the main hall for some rest. Luoli followed him, but after walking just a few steps, Mu-Chen suddenly stopped. What's wrong? Luoli asked when she saw Mu-Chen halt. If the Flame Emperor and the others really wanted to restore the lower dimension world, what should we do? Mu-Chen said, his back turned to Luoli. Luoli shook her head helplessly and then replied, to restore a lower dimension, the domain world would need to be dismantled and rebuilt. To accomplish this, the power of the central hub is necessary. If you were the one to do this, what would you do? Mu-Chen asked, seeing that Luoli was willing to discuss the matter. I would ascend to the domain celestial court in the name of saving the world after you leave, and request the release of the servant, Luoli said. Why? Mu-Chen asked. Because anyone with clear eyes would know that your journey is incredibly dangerous. Success and failure are unpredictable, and what you'll be taking with you is most of the domain world's power. After you leave, there will be a vacuum in the number of strong individuals, leaving the domain world in a vulnerable state. If we do nothing at this time, we may fall into various dangers in the vast expanse. At that point, the Flame Emperor and the martial Ancestor will become the new hope for all living beings in the world. Luoli continued. If I were them, I would step forward at such a time, in this domain world without you, and take on the responsibility of protecting the world once more. After your departure, the central hub of the domain world would once again fall into a void, and I would seize the opportunity to become the central hub myself. From there, I could restore the lower dimension world. As for releasing the servant, that's an even better reason, because the servant understands the wars in the vast expanse. He knows what's truly dangerous. If I were the Flame Emperor or martial Ancestor, I too would want such an ally and use that as a reason to enter the domain celestial court. Upon hearing Luoli's words, Mu-Chen's expression gradually grew more serious. Of course, this is just my personal opinion. I still don't believe the Flame Emperor and the others would entertain such thoughts, Luoli said, furrowing her brow. You're not really suspecting the two of them, are you? Mu-Chen fell silent again before speaking. After I leave, you'll have to take my place as the central hub of this world. You? We only have 2 days left, Luoli said in surprise at Mu-Chen's decision. 2 days is enough for us, Mu-Chen replied. And if what I fear really happens, I hope you will follow through with my plan. Plan for what? Luoli asked. After all, they are senior figures, and they represent the will of all beings in the world. We must respect them, Mu-Chen said. The day after Mu-Chen departed, at the domain celestial court, when Xiaoyan's figure appeared before everyone, Luoli's gaze also briefly sharpened. The Flame Emperor Xiaoyan and the martial Ancestor Lin Dong. Both were beings capable of shaking the very foundations of the world. Although Mu-Chen had attained the position of central hub, in the eyes of the beings in the domain world, the highest status likely still belonged to the Flame Emperor and the martial Ancestor. I want to see this servant. Xiaoyan directly made this request, causing many to be incredulous. After all, the servant was a person Mu-Chen had specially sealed away before leaving, and now Xiaoyan wished to see him. I'm afraid I cannot agree to the Flame Emperor's request, Luoli responded directly. She raised her hand and took a few steps forward, her gaze focused on Xiao Yin in the distance. Meanwhile, doubts began to rise in her mind. She still remembered what Mu Chan had told her a month ago. Though she didn't believe such a thing would happen, the fact that the Flame Emperor and martial Ancestor had arrived at the domain's celestial court without any prior notice made it seem like a surprise attack in some ways. Could it be that Mu Chin's concerns were right? Could the Flame Emperor and other senior figures become internal threats to the domain world? The servant holds the trump card that could determine the fate of the domain world. We must see him, Xiaoyan said. When Luoli refused, he showed no surprise but instead continued, the domain world is likely in great danger now, and I hope you understand the situation. Please trust Mu Chun, Flame Emperor, Luoli said firmly, her words resolute. The powerful beings of the domain's celestial court all nodded in agreement. Miracles are a matter of probability. To place the fate of a world on something so intangible is not a responsible way to act, Lin Dong spoke up. Honestly, I'm not particularly trusting of the servant, but right now we do need to learn some things from him. Are the two of you trying to prove your responsibility to this world? Luoli said with a deep breath. She then directly voiced the concerns Mu Chun had warned her about. Or, do the two of you have other plans? Other plans? Upon hearing Luoli's words, Xiao Yin and Lin Dong furrowed their brows. When Xiao Yan's words spread, everyone in the domain's celestial court froze for a moment. If Xiao Yin had come to find the acolyte with another plan in mind, what exactly was he scheming? I've roughly understood Senior Flame Emperor's intentions, Luoli said, narrowing her gaze. Moreover, Mu Chen knew about this before he left. He knew Senior Flame Emperor would act this way. Upon hearing this, Xiao Yin furrowed his brows again. He couldn't quite understand how Luoli could be so certain, especially since how could Mu Chen possibly predict the situation in the domain world right now? How could he even know what Xiao Yin was about to do? Senior Flame Emperor, have you truly decided to proceed like this? Luoli asked, her voice heavy with doubt. She hadn't expected things to escalate to this point. Xiao Yin nodded slowly. For now, this is the only course of action I can take. After all, I have certain responsibilities to this world. Then, we must follow Mu Chen's instructions, Luoli said. Oh? Mu Chen predicted the situation? I'm quite curious how he managed that, Xiaoyan asked. Mu Chen is already aware. Before he returned, he made it clear that no one is allowed to approach the acolyte. However, if Senior Flame Emperor insists on meeting him, you'll need to pass through us first, Luoli replied. As her words fell, countless figures with terrifying auras began to appear in the air above the domain's celestial court. These individuals were the court's experts. While most of the stronger forces had been taken away by Mu Chun, the domain's celestial court still had nearly 20 heavenly supremes and over 1,000 earth supremes stationed here to guard it. Including 9 Nether, the Undying Venerable, the domain's celestial court still boasted 2 or 3 perfected heavenly supremes. Seeing Luoli mobilizing such force, Xiao Yin and Lin Dong exchanged glances. They hadn't expected Luoli to take such drastic action just to prevent them from meeting the acolyte. However, to think that such forces could stop the Flame Emperor, a martial ancestor with transcendent abilities, was laughable. So, when all the domain celestial court's experts made their move, Xiao Yin and Lin Dong stepped forward without hesitation. They ignored the many powerful figures around them and prepared to strike directly at Luoli, the Central Lord. But Luoli simply smiled faintly. She waved her jade hand once more, and suddenly, the entire world fell into silence. In that instant, Xiao Yin and Lin Dong's eyes widened in shock. Their upper ruler-level rule power vanished without a trace, leaving only their peak spiritual energy, the power of a perfected heavenly supreme. Senior Flame Emperor, the damage caused by the power of the rules to this world is too severe. Let me hold on to that qualification to rival the heavens for now, Luoli said. After canceling their rule power, she continued, Mu Chen respects both of you, so if you insist on fighting, we won't use the power of the rules against you. Likewise, if you can defeat all the experts of the domain celestial court with your current strength, we will not stop you from meeting the acolyte. Well, I must thank that brat Mu Chun for his respect, Xiaoyan remarked. This was the first time they felt the full extent of the Central Lord's power, being able to strip them of their upper ruler's strength. No wonder Mu Chun had believed that becoming the Central Lord meant controlling everything. Sorry, Lindong. I think I've dragged you into this, Xiaoyan said, turning to Lindong as they faced the many experts ahead. This is unexpected. Looks like Mu Chun suspected us, Lindong replied. But now that we're this far in, I don't mind having some fun with them. That's good, Xiaoyan said with a faint smile. Then, he slowly raised his hand. On the back of his hand, a brilliant flame rune began to burn, and at that moment, the temperature of the entire world began to rise rapidly. Lin Dong took a deep breath, waved at Ling Qingzhu beside him, and then a terrifying battle intent, accompanied by the roar of thunder, spread across the heavens. Boom! As Xiao Yin, the Flame Emperor, and Lin Dong, the martial ancestor, unleashed their power, the many experts of the domain celestial court tensed. They all knew just how terrifying these two had been when it came to their spiritual energy mastery. It's been a while since I fought with spiritual energy. I really miss it, Xiao Yin said as he looked at the countless experts ahead of him.